single photo has sent shockwaves across the internet. A colossal, serpent-like creature pulled from the depths. Is it a hoax? A giant eel? Or has a fisherman just stumbled upon living proof of a prehistoric river dragon? An undiscovered species that defies everything we thought we knew. Prepare to have your mind blown as we dive deep into the 15 real creatures that left scientists and viewers stunned. Number 15. Sea creatures. Sometimes the ocean gives back things we don't understand. A woman was filming aboard a small fishing boat off the coast of Japan. It was a quiet day until the crew hauled in their net and found something they couldn't explain. It wasn't a fish. It wasn't an octopus. It was something else. What the camera captured was pink, slimy, and alive. A writhing mass of soft tendrils, all tangled together like something that had never seen light before. It pulsed and twisted, its movements both slow and frantic, as if it didn't know what world it had just entered. Some believe it's a mutated sea cucumber. Others suggest it might be a colony of deep-sea organisms fused together in the dark. But not everyone agrees. There are those who believe it's something far stranger. A creature from a part of the ocean we've never reached. A reminder that we've only explored a tiny fraction of what lies beneath the surface. And sometimes what rises from the deep isn't meant to be seen. Number 14. Newborn piglet. What lies beneath the water can be terrifying simply because we can't always see it. But what if something unnatural isn't hiding in the ocean or lurking in a deep forest? What if it's born right in front of us, in plain sight, and not in the wild but on a farm? What you're about to witness doesn't just challenge science. It challenges our very idea of what an animal is supposed to be. Take a look and decide for yourself. This video shows what is claimed to be a newborn piglet, but its body is small, oddly shaped, and clearly underdeveloped. The disturbing part, however, is not the size, it's the face. Instead of the flat snout of a pig, it has forward-facing eyes, wide ears, and a mouth that looks far too familiar. It doesn't look like a farm animal. It looks like a chimpanzee. Locals who recorded the video insist the animal was born this way naturally, but the resemblance is hard to ignore. Some believe it's just a strange genetic mutation. Others think it could be the result of chemical exposure, radiation, or even a virus interfering with development in the womb. But then there's the darker theory, that this isn't just nature making a mistake, that something or someone tampered with it. Was it a natural accident? A side effect of something humans caused? Or proof that boundaries are being crossed in ways we're not ready to admit? We may never get the answers, but if this hadn't been caught on camera, no one would believe it was real. And what comes next, it only gets stranger. Number 13. Swollen eye calf. The last creature was shocking. But what comes next is even more disturbing. Not because it's dangerous or aggressive, but because something about it feels deeply wrong. It's not the shape of the body. It's not the way it moves. It's the eyes. The moment they lock onto the camera, everything changes. And once you see them, you won't forget them. The video shows a newborn calf barely standing, but its face doesn't look like any farm animal you've ever seen. Its eyes are massive, bulging, and swollen, so large they reflect light like glass orbs under pressure. It trembles as it tries to stay upright, its legs too weak to support its own weight. Some say it's just a sick animal, maybe blind. Others point to a condition called hydrocephalus, where fluid builds up in the brain causing swelling. But not everyone is convinced. A few believe this is something darker, the result of radiation exposure, chemical pollution, or even failed genetic experiments. Whatever the explanation, the way this calf stares into the lens is unsettling. It doesn't blink. It doesn't flinch. It just stands there as if it knows something's wrong, as if it understands it's not supposed to exist. No normal calf should ever look like this, and yet here it is, alive, trembling, and caught on video. Number 12. A white dragon caught. In June of 2014, a strange photo surfaced online, and it spread fast. The image showed what appeared to be a long, pale creature lying on a rocky surface. The claim that it was a real white dragon. Details were scarce. The source was unclear, but the image caught fire, drawing thousands of comments and theories within days. At first glance, the creature had many of the features you'd expect from dragon folklore. A long, slender body nearly 10 feet in length, curved horns rising from its head, clawed limbs, and translucent skin that shimmered like scales in the light. According to an unnamed source, a fisherman discovered the creature in the waters of Wulong Lake, a remote freshwater lake in Mongolia. The story goes that it was pulled from the shallows and transported to Beijing for scientific examination. But then nothing. No follow-up report, no official statement, no confirmed records. Just a photograph and a story that quietly disappeared. Some believe it was an elaborate hoax, nothing more than a realistic sculpture placed in a dramatic setting. Others are convinced it was real, not a fire-breathing dragon, but perhaps a rare, unknown species, a living fossil pulled from the water by accident. Whatever it was, the image remains one of the most debated dragon sightings of the digital age. And whether myth, mistake, or something extraordinary, it leaves behind one chilling question. If that wasn't a real dragon, what was it? Number 11. A real fairy. Across Europe, old stories tell of tiny winged creatures with mysterious powers. Some call them fairies, others elves. They appear in legends, paintings, and even films, like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, the playful companion with magical dust and a stubborn streak. Most people see them as fantasy. But what if they're not? One day, a man was playing with his children in the backyard when they heard something strange near the trees. Curious, they went closer. What they saw and captured on video left them stunned. On camera, a small glowing figure moves quickly near the grass. It's not large, but it has wings, and for a brief second, it almost looks like it notices the camera before vanishing from view. That wasn't the only time something like this was caught on film. In a separate video recorded by a driveway security camera, a tiny flying shape zips across the screen. It's fast and faint, but its outline is hard to ignore. Could it be an insect? Possibly, but the body and wings seem different, more like the stories than a bug. Many viewers believe it's proof that fairies are real. Others say it's just a trick of the light or a camera glitch. But if you saw it yourself, what would you believe? Now it's time for today's topic. In late 2025, a group of local fishermen navigating a narrow stretch of the Madre de Dios River in southern Peru, near the edge of the Tambopata National Reserve, captured footage that instantly terrified them. As their wooden canoe rounded a bend, the river erupted ahead. A massive, dark-backed creature surged from the muddy water, its body wider than the boat itself. The fishermen shouted and dropped their nets as the animal's scarred, armor-like skin rolled against the current. It wasn't a crocodile, manatee, or anaconda, nothing known to live in the Amazon. The beast lingered for seconds, forcing the boat to drift backward, before sinking silently beneath the surface. When the video surfaced online, biologists were stunned. No recorded species fits its size or shape. So what do you think this river monster really was? Number 10. The Pale Unknown. Deep in the rugged wilderness of Australia, far from towns, roads, and human noise, an explorer made a disturbing discovery. There, lying in the dirt under a tangle of branches, was something that looked like the remains of an animal. At first glance, it seemed like a decaying kangaroo or some wild predator. Pale, hairless, and still. But something was off. As he moved closer, the body didn't match anything familiar. Its limbs were too long for its size. Its fingers looked disturbingly human, curled and thin with visible joints. The face was twisted, stretched, and sunken, with sharp, uneven teeth and empty sockets where eyes should have been. Its tail was long and hairless like a giant rat, but it didn't look like any known species, and it didn't look like anything that should be alive or dead in this part of the world. Some believed it was the result of decay, a natural animal disfigured by time and heat. But others weren't convinced. Biologists who saw the photos couldn't place it within any known species. Some speculated it was a malformed wallaby, but the features didn't quite fit. A few even suggested it could be the result of illegal experimentation, something bred in captivity and then discarded. With military testing sites and restricted zones scattered throughout the outback, the theory wasn't impossible. And then came the folklore. Some local Aboriginal communities have long spoken of spirit creatures or cursed beings that roam the land, appearing only to those who are alone or lost, silent watchers of the wild. Was this one of them? Whether it was a mutation, a failed hybrid, or something older than science can explain, one thing is certain. It should not have been there. And if it was found once, it could be found again. Number 9. Jersey Devil. Some legends are too strange to believe and too persistent to ignore. The Jersey Devil is one of them. Said to haunt the dense pine forests of southern New Jersey, this creature has been terrifying locals for centuries. And while sightings are rare, one video continues to stir debate. It was filmed by a woman named Emily Martin while visiting Leeds Point, the very place where the Jersey Devil is said to have been born. According to legend, the creature came into existence on a stormy night in the year 1735. Some say it was the cursed 13th child of a local woman. Others claim it was the result of a dark spell cast during the Revolutionary War after a young girl fell in love with a British soldier. Either way, what people claim to see is always the same. A winged beast with a horse-like head, short front limbs ending in hooves, and glowing red eyes. Witnesses say it moves through the trees without a sound until it screams. A high-pitched screech that echoes across the woods, freezing anyone who hears it. Some have described it standing nearly 2 meters tall. Others have only caught glimpses, shapes in the shadows, wings unfolding in the dark. Skeptics call it a story made to scare children. But the footage Emily captured still hasn't been fully explained. And if even part of the legend is true, then something unnatural is hiding in those woods. Number 8. The Leviathan. Just when you think the ocean can't surprise you anymore, it does. A man standing on the deck of a cruise ship aimed his camera at the open sea. It was a calm day, nothing unusual on the horizon, until something rose from the water. A massive shape began to emerge, slow, silent, and impossible to measure. Its dark form curved against the surface, too smooth to be rock, too large to be a whale. For a moment, it seemed to stretch across the waves like the spine of something ancient. The camera shook slightly as the person filming struggled to keep the object in frame, a clear sign of shock rather than careful staging. Passengers nearby could be heard gasping and pointing, their reactions spontaneous and unfiltered. The shape appeared to move against the current, suggesting intention rather than drifting debris. No splashing followed, no spray or breach, just a steady, deliberate rise that defied familiar ocean behavior. Even experienced sailors later commented that they had never seen anything like it in those waters. The brief appearance was enough to leave behind more questions than answers, the kind that linger long after the waves close again. Viewers later called it the Leviathan. Some claimed it was just a shadow. Others suggested a trick of light or an iceberg reflecting oddly beneath the waves. But many were convinced this was something alive. With over 80% of our oceans still unexplored, who's to say what really lurks below the surface? And if something this big can rise without warning, how many more giants might be waiting in the deep? Every corner of the planet holds something unexplored, something that doesn't fit the rules. And as technology grows and cameras roll in more places, we're seeing more than ever before. Creatures that were once only whispers now stare back through the screen. Number 7. It looks like a crocodile. It all began with a single photo, a strange one that spread quickly online without any real explanation. At first, people dismissed it as a prank. Maybe someone had edited the image or created a hoax. But the longer you look, the harder it is to explain. Here it is. Look closely. What you're seeing looks like a young crocodile. Same rough skin, same powerful jaw. But the tail, it's all wrong. Wildlife experts who examined the image noted that the tail structure doesn't match any known crocodilian deformities on record. The musculature appears evenly developed, suggesting it wasn't damaged or reshaped by injury. Some biologists pointed out that the fin-like curve resembles adaptations seen in fully aquatic animals rather than semi-aquatic reptiles. Others questioned whether selective breeding or environmental pressure could push evolution in such an unusual direction. The lack of visible scars or abnormalities only deepened the mystery. As the photo circulated, no one was able to trace its exact origin or confirm where it was taken. Instead of the usual narrow, ridged tail that helps crocodiles swim, this one is broad, flat, and curved, almost like the fin of a fish. Some people say it's just a deformity, maybe a mutation caused by pollution or toxins in the water. Others think it could be a genetic twist, a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. But there's another theory. What if this isn't a crocodile at all? Or at least not completely? In the farthest reaches of remote swamps, where few humans ever venture, nature doesn't always follow the rules. In places like that, strange hybrids might not be as rare as we think. One thing's for sure, if this photo had never been taken, no one would believe this creature was real. And if something like this is out in the open, what could still be hiding just beneath the surface? Number 6. Baby dragon. In 2017, a short video surfaced on Facebook and quickly went viral. Came from China, and the claim behind it was bold. Someone had found a baby dragon. The footage is only 9 seconds long, but it sparked a wave of speculation. In the video, a small green creature rests inside a box filled with hay. His body is curled, still, and oddly shaped. Then, just as the camera focuses, it opens its eyes. That single movement sent chills through viewers, as the eyes appeared glossy and alert rather than lifeless or mechanical. Some noticed what looked like faint breathing, a slight rise and fall that suggested the creature was alive. Others pointed out the way the hay around it shifted, as if disturbed by subtle motion. The setting itself raised questions, too, appearing too casual for a laboratory yet too deliberate for a random discovery. Within hours, screenshots and slowed-down replays flooded social media, each claiming to reveal a new detail hidden in the brief clip. That was all it took. Some viewers were convinced it was a toy or animatronic, carefully placed and timed. Others weren't so sure. The way it blinked, the subtle movements of its head, even the texture of its skin, they felt too real. A few suggested it could be a rare salamander species. In certain parts of China, large salamanders are sometimes mistaken for mythological creatures, even called living dragons in local stories. But scientists were quick to explain. Salamanders are amphibians, not dragons. Still, the mystery remains. If it was a hoax, it was a clever one. If it was a real animal, we still don't know exactly what it was. And if, just maybe, it was something more, what else could be hiding in the remote forests of the world? Number 5. The unknown thing from the well. Every now and then, a photo appears online that feels too strange to ignore. It doesn't come with a clear explanation, no warning, just an image that makes you stop and stare, wondering if what you're looking at could possibly be real. This was one of those photos. It first appeared on social media and quickly spread across platforms, including Facebook. It showed a small, hairless creature lying still, pale and unnerving. People didn't know what to make of it, but the unease was instant. According to reports, the creature was discovered in the village of Jodhpur in western Rajasthan, India. Local residents had drawn water from a nearby well, and that's when they saw it. Something small, strange, and lifeless floating near the surface. To show the scale and oddity of what they found, a man posed next to it. That image became the center of the mystery. The creature appeared to have a tiny body with thin arms ending in hands that had 4 long fingers, no thumb. Its head was shaped oddly, almost human yet not. Its features were difficult to place, but impossible to forget. Some viewers suggested it could be the fetus of a goat or other animal, deformed by nature or disease. Others believe it might be a genetic mutation, something born wrong and abandoned. But then came the whispers that it wasn't an animal at all, that it looked too human. No official investigation followed. No lab results were released. Just a single photo passed around the internet, leaving people with more questions than answers and one uncomfortable thought. What else might be out there, buried in places we never think to look? Number 4. The river extraction. It started like something out of a science fiction film. A quiet park, a calm lake, and then men in hazmat suits. A man walking nearby noticed the scene and began recording. What he captured raises more questions than answers. And some viewers believe it may be proof that mermaids are not just myths and that someone is working hard to keep them hidden. The footage begins with several individuals in bright yellow hazmat suits standing by the edge of the lake. First, nothing seems unusual. It looks like a cleanup operation or perhaps a routine environmental check. But then the camera zooms in. In their arms, the men appear to be carrying a body. The upper half resembles a human, but the lower half tells a different story. A dark green fishtail drapes from the figure, shimmering with scale-like textures. It doesn't look like a costume. It moves with weight, with shape, with realism. The man filming tries to get closer, edging along the path. But then something shifts. One of the hazmat-suited figures looks up straight at the camera. The man recording panics and runs. The video ends there abruptly. No follow-up, no official explanation. What was the creature being pulled from the lake? Was it a hoax, a recovered animal, or something the public was never meant to see? Whatever the answer is, it disappeared just as quickly as it appeared. And the idea that it might have been real continues to ripple across the internet. If that was a mermaid, why was it removed in secret? Number 3. A mermaid. Out of all the creatures in myth and legend, few spark more debate than the mermaid, half human, half fish, and always just out of reach. But what if one wasn't? In a video that continues to divide opinion online, a group of fishermen pull up their net expecting an ordinary catch. But what surfaces is anything but ordinary. The footage has no sound, but their body language tells the story. You can see the hesitation, the sudden urgency, the confused movements as something strange begins to rise from the water. A pale figure appears tangled in the net. For a brief moment, it thrashes just above the surface. Not a fish, not a seal, but something shaped like a person. Its limbs twist in unnatural ways, and one detail stands out more than anything else: the hand. The fingers seem to flex independently, gripping the net with a deliberate strength that looks disturbingly purposeful. Light reflects off its skin in a way that appears slick yet smooth, unlike scales or fur. One fisherman stumbles backward as the net jerks violently, as if whatever is inside understands it's trapped. The tension escalates rapidly, turning confusion into panic within seconds. Even through the grainy footage, There's a chilling sense that this is not an animal reacting on instinct, but something actively trying to escape. It looks almost human, but too long, too smooth, too strong. As the crew struggles with the net, the creature begins tearing through the mesh with terrifying ease. Before they can react, it slips free and vanishes into the sea. Some viewers claim it's just a marine animal caught at an odd angle. Others are convinced it's something else, something the ocean wasn't ready to give up. And if what they caught wasn't a mermaid, what was it? Number 2. Floating tentacles. If the two-headed fish was strange, what comes next feels completely alien. Someone was walking along a quiet riverbank when they noticed something drifting in the water. At first, it looked like a floating object, but when they started recording, things took a bizarre turn. What they captured was a tangled mass of dark tentacles swaying gently beneath the surface. It moved in ways that didn't make sense, as if it was alive, but not like anything we recognize. The tendrils appeared to pulse in slow waves, tightening and loosening as though responding to an unseen stimulus. Sunlight barely penetrated the murky water, giving the mass a shadowy, almost oily appearance that made its true shape impossible to define. At moments, the strands seemed to separate and then rejoin, behaving less like individual organisms and more like a single coordinated entity. The person filming could be heard breathing faster, unsure whether the thing was drifting passively or subtly following the river's current with intention. The longer it was observed, the harder it became to dismiss the feeling that it was something watching back. Some marine biologists think it could be a colony of hydroids or horsehair worms. Others say it might be something else entirely, something not yet discovered. Was it a natural formation or a new life form never seen before? No one can say for sure. Number 1. In the submarine. While exploring the ocean depths from inside a submarine, a man glanced out the window and suddenly froze. At first, it looked like an ordinary shark, massive, silent, drifting. But then he noticed something that didn't make sense. It wasn't moving. There it was, a great white shark suspended midwater. The skin was pale and peeling, its eyes sunken, and its body appeared to be rotting. But it hadn't sunk. It floated perfectly still, as if frozen in time. The submarine's lights washed over the corpse, revealing torn fins and patches where scavengers had already taken their share. No bubbles rose from its body, no subtle twitch of muscle hinted at life, only a lifeless silhouette hanging in the dark. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, unsettled by how the shark defied the ocean's usual rules. Sharks are meant to sink or be torn apart quickly, not linger like this. The stillness made it feel less like a dead animal and more like a warning left behind in the water. Marine experts who analyzed the footage offered a few explanations. Maybe the current was holding the carcass in place. Maybe it had recently died and hadn't sunk yet. But others weren't so sure. Some began whispering about a zombie shark, a predator caught between life and death, a creature from the deep that refuses to decay, or something trapped in a strange form of suspended animation. Whether it was a rare ocean phenomenon or something far more unsettling, the sight was unforgettable. What comes next? It isn't a single creature at all, but something far, far bigger. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.